They tell you to wait. Wait until you're ready. Wait until the timing is right. Wait until fear loosens its grip. But I'm here to tell you that wait is killing you. You don't need more time. You need less excuse. Excuses dress themselves as logic. They wear the mask of reason, but beneath it all, they're just the chains that keep greatness shackled. You say, it's not the right season. Edison didn't wait for seasons. He invented the light bulb in the darkness. You say, I don't have the money. But Henry Ford started with nothing and built an empire that redefined industry. You say, I'm too old, while Colonel Sanders was rejected over 1,000 times before he sold his first recipe in his 60s. The lie is comfortable, it's warm, it cradles you with the illusion of safety, but you weren't born for comfort. You were born to build, to command, to transform. You weren't born to hand over your potential to the cheap excuses that whisper, maybe tomorrow, because tomorrow is not promised. And neither is your dream, the cost of your excuses. It's not just your ambition, it's your legacy. It's the respect of the man or woman in the mirror. It's the life you could have lived had you faced the fire and said, I will not back down. Look back through history and you'll see it. The names etched into time didn't avoid resistance. They invited it. Lincoln failed in business. He lost elections. He faced tragedy after tragedy, but the man never let an excuse write his story. He wrote it in blood, sweat, and absolute defiance. Disney was told he lacked imagination. Ollie was told he ran his mouth too much. Oprah was fired for not being fit for television. And yet here we are, reciting their names, while most people's excuses are buried with them in anonymity. You are not here to participate in mediocrity. You are not here to inherit fear. You are not here to excuse your way through life. You are here to make the dam climb, and it starts by killing the excuse in your mind that whispers you can't, because you can. You just won't until you decide that your dreams are non-negotiable. Do you want to know what separates the few who rise from the many who fall? It's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's not talent. It's ownership. The greats take full responsibility. They don't say, the economy is bad. They say, how do I dominate regardless? They don't say, people won't support me. They say, then I'll build it alone. They don't cry about the obstacles. They become the storm that tears them down, and make no mistake. Excuses are poison. They may feel like protection, but every time you tell yourself why you can't, you etch failure into your nervous system. You train your spirit to retreat. You become a soldier who lays down his sword before the first battle even begins. That's not how you win. That's how you vanish, and you were not born to vanish. You were born to leave a mark so deep on this world. They have to carve your name into stone to remember how loud you lived. But you can't do that holding onto excuses. You have to stand in the furnace of your own potential and say, I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care if I'm scared. I don't care if they doubt me. I will not bow. Do you hear me? Your destiny demands your defiance. Your future does not belong to excuses. It belongs to the relentless. You think it's hard now, good, it should be. Nothing worth building comes wrapped in comfort. Nothing worth becoming arrives without a war. Greatness is always born in adversity. Look at the Wright brothers, no money, no degrees, no applause, just a dream and two men who refused to make excuses. They failed over and over, but they refused to quit. And because of that refusal, the skies no longer belong to birds alone. That's the price, sacrifice, sweat, delusion, even the kind that lets you believe in yourself when the world laughs in your face. But you want to know the truth. The universe bends to the man who refuses to bend to his excuses. It's not talent that makes people legends. It's obsession. It's consistency. It's waking up when the excuses say sleep. It's pushing when everything inside you screams rest. It's putting in the reps when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one believes. You want belief, earn it, because belief without action is fantasy. Faith without effort is fraud. Desire without discipline is just daydreaming in disguise. So let me ask you something real. What have your excuses built? Where have they taken you? What kingdom have they raised? What fire have they lit? Because I promise you they haven't taken you to the life you dream about. They haven't led you to purpose, to power, to prosperity. They've only handed you delay, disappointment, regret. You don't need more comfort. You need more conviction. You don't need another break. You need a breakthrough. And you don't get that from excuses. You get that from choosing to rise, regardless of how many reasons you have to fall. This is the truth. There are people right now with half your skill and twice your hustle living the life you say you want. Not because they're better, not because they're smarter, but because they stopped letting excuses speak louder than action. The world does not reward the man who plans. It rewards the man who executes. And if your mind it isn't violent about your own success, if you're not willing to attack your excuses like your life depends on it, then you don't want it bad enough, because that's what it takes. You think Bezos, Musk, Carnegie, Hill, any of them got where they are by negotiating with their doubts, by giving their fear a seat at the table? No. They locked the door on fear and built the empire anyway. They faced rejection, failure, bankruptcy, scandal, and they kept moving. Because the moment you accept responsibility for everything in your life, you gain power over everything in your life. You either live at the mercy of circumstance or at the command of your will. And you don't build a legacy by waiting for permission. You seize it, you claim it, that fire inside you. You either feed it or you starve it. And every excuse is another drop of water on the flame that could have set your world on fire. So the question is no longer, what if I fail? The real question is, what if I don't rise? What if I let this dream die? What if I spend the next 5 years blaming things I could have beaten if I just had the guts to face them? Your excuses are costing you everything, not someday, right now, every time you say not today. Every time you say maybe later, every time you wait for motivation instead of marching with discipline, you pay a price in silence. And one day, if you're not careful, that silence becomes regret. You think the pain of effort is heavy. Wait until you carry the weight of wasted potential. There's no silence louder than the voice that says, you could have been more, but you chose less. Not because less was forced upon you, but because you chose to obey the excuses instead of the fire. That's the real tragedy, not failure, not rejection, but surrender. You had everything, breath in your lungs. A mind capable of miracles, a heart that once believed anything was possible, and yet you gave it away, to fear, to doubt, to lies that came dressed as comfort. The truth is this: excuses are thieves. They rob you while convincing you they're protecting you. But this world was never changed by the protected. It was changed by the defiant, by those who stood at the edge of limitation and said, if I fall forward, but I will not stand still. You were not born to crawl through life. You were born to burn your mark into time, but that flame won't last forever if you keep putting it out with hesitation, because every excuse you feed makes the mountain taller. Every reason you avoid action adds another brick to the wall between you and your purpose. But here's the power. That wall isn't permanent. That mountain is climbable, but only for the one who trades excuses for action. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be relentless. That's the secret. You win not by being flawless, but by being fearless. Not fearless in the absence of fear, but fearless in spite of it. Fear says, wait. You say, now. Doubt says, you're not ready. You say, then I'll build as I go. Excuses scream, it's too late. You whisper back, watch me. Because everything you want is on the other side of decision, not comfort, not ease. Decision, that divine moment when a soul declares, I will no longer be a prisoner of my own potential. That's what this is about. Freedom, freedom from your excuses, freedom from your limitations, freedom from the soft life that kills hard dreams. You want the life they write books about. Then you better be ready to do the work they never show on camera. You better be willing to suffer in silence, to lose while others win, to fall and rise and fall again without complaint. because the world is not changed by the man who moves when it's easy. It's changed by the one who moves when it's not. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it, this is the call, to stop explaining your limitations and start exposing your greatness, to bury every excuse beneath the concrete of commitment, to walk into the storm and dare it to break you. Because when you stop giving your excuses oxygen, your vision begins to breathe. The vision is waiting. It's not gone. It's just buried under years of hesitation. But here's the truth they won't tell you. Your excuses have no power that you don't give them. Strip them of their story, and what are they? Just noise, static, a temporary discomfort disguising itself as permanent truth. And yet most people listen to that noise louder than they listen to their own destiny. You think Carnegie waited until someone handed him a road map. He wrote his own, he read, he studied, he failed forward, because leaders don't wait for paths, they forge them. You don't need someone to approve your potential. You need to prove it to yourself, and that doesn't come in moments of convenience. It comes in the silence when no one claps, when no one's watching. When the pain is personal, the wins are rare, and the voice inside is the only thing that keeps you moving forward. That's the moment you find out who you are, not the you who posts the dream, not the you who talks about it in a cafe, the real you, the one who shows up at 5 a.m., broken but determined, the one who doesn't care how hard it gets because they've already decided there is no other way. And maybe that's the problem. You've left yourself too many exits, too many maybes, too many we'll sees. You want to burn for this, but you're still standing next to the fire with one foot in comfort. No more. If you want the life that calls to your soul, then you must destroy every exit, lock the back door, burn the bridges that lead to safety, because the only path is forward, and forward is painful. But forward is also free. Understand this discipline is a higher form of love. When you refuse to let yourself settle, that's love. When you grind when you could quit, that's love. When you show up every single day, not for applause, but because you refuse to betray your purpose, that is self-respect, and self-respect builds empires, there is a roar inside you. A force so powerful it can rewrite your past, reroute your future, and reignite every dream you buried under the phrase, not now. But it can only rise if you stop feeding the lies, the lie that you're too late, the lie that you're too broken, the lie that other people are chosen and you were left behind. You weren't left behind. You left yourself behind, and it's time to go back, to dig that dream out of the ground, to rinse the dirt off your destiny and carry it like a weapon through every wall life puts in front of you. Because no one's coming to do it for you. They can doubt you. They can walk away. They can laugh behind your back. But they cannot stop you unless you join them. So don't you dare become your own enemy. Excuses are the vocabulary of the average, but your voice, it was made for declarations, for standards, for truth. And the truth is, there is more in you than this world has ever seen. But you have to choose to show it, not once, not when it's easy, every day. That's how you break through. That's how you take back your name.